Hidden in a sample of Martian soil was something humanity had never seen. But the moment it came alive, death began to knock. The question was no longer who would survive. The question was, would anyone survive at all? This is the story of 6 astronauts sent on a mission to the ISS, the International Space Station. Their job was to find the Martian soil sample and bring it back to Earth. This sample had been lost in space 8 months prior. The mission is complete, but when they examine the soil, something happens that makes them not want to return to Earth at all. What exactly was in that soil? The story begins with David, Miranda, Hugh, Katrina, Rory, and Sho. They are planning to retrieve the sample from Mars. Rory goes outside and uses a robotic arm to catch the sample. Hugh tests the sample and finds a single-celled creature inside, which appears dead. Hugh tells Sho to drop the temperature to 0 and increase the CO2. Sho sets the temperature to 0 and increases the CO2. A little later, the creature starts to stir and comes back to life. Seeing it move, everyone is ecstatic. The next day, Katrina video calls school children on Earth and asks what they should name the alien. The children name it Calvin. As they observe it, Calvin's cells begin to multiply, and its size starts to increase. Within a few days, Calvin has grown quite large. Seeing this, Hugh goes to it and tries to shake its hand, and he succeeds. Everyone is astonished by Calvin's intelligent nature. Then, everyone goes to sleep in their rooms. The next day, Hugh goes to see Calvin again and notices it's even bigger than before. Hugh is happy and leaves. To continue his research, he returns to Calvin, who is now even larger and more powerful. Hugh is conducting his research on Calvin when Calvin suddenly wakes up. It grabs Hugh's hand tightly and won't let go. Hugh tries to pull his hand free, but Calvin breaks his fingers one by one. Hugh feels intense pain and loses consciousness. Calvin then uses the electric rod to cut Hugh's glove and escapes from the lab. Once outside, it goes straight for the rat in the lab and eats it. Eating the rat makes Calvin grow even bigger. Seeing this, Miranda seals the lab. Rory then goes inside the lab to try and kill Calvin. But as Rory tries to kill it, Calvin attacks him, enters his mouth, and devours all the flesh from his body. Rory dies instantly. Calvin drinks all his blood, increasing its size further. After killing Rory, Calvin tries to escape. Miranda tells Sho to close all the lab doors so Calvin cannot get out. However, Calvin forces its way out of the lab and proceeds to fail all the systems, causing them to lose contact with Earth. Now, Katrina tells Sho and David that she is going outside to fix the transmitter so they can warn Earth about Calvin. Sho tells her to also check the engine coolant while she's out. As soon as Katrina opens the capsule, she finds the coolant is missing. She tells Sho. Sho says Calvin is probably a carbon-based organism, and it may have eaten the coolant thinking it was food. Katrina fixes the transmitter and starts to return, but just then, Calvin arrives, attacks her, and breaks all her bones. Katrina dies instantly. Calvin then tries to get inside through the thrusters, but Sho cleverly manages to drive it away. Next, we see Hugh, who is apologizing to his team, but before anyone can understand why, he faints. Everyone tries to revive Hugh, but then Miranda notices his twitching feet. She pulls the cover off his legs and everyone is shocked because Calvin is hiding there, drinking Hugh's blood. Miranda gives it an electric shock, after which Calvin reveals its true, larger form. Everyone now realizes Hugh was apologizing because he had accidentally let Calvin inside. Seeing Calvin, everyone runs for their lives. Sho hides in a sleeping pod, but Calvin follows him there and hovers around him. Sho is terrified to see Calvin, and Calvin tries to break the pod's glass, but it fails and leaves. Meanwhile, David and Miranda use Hugh's body as bait to trap Calvin and rescue Sho. Calvin comes to feed on Hugh's blood, and Miranda immediately locks it inside the capsule with the body. Just then, a rescue capsule named Fireball 3 docks with their space station. David tells Miranda there's no need to worry, the rescue team has arrived, but Miranda explains that Fireball 3 is not a rescue capsule, it's a space station. She says that Earth's scientists could never let a dangerous alien like Calvin reach the planet, which is why they created Fireball 3 specifically to steer Fireball 1 and 2 away from Earth if necessary. Hearing this, David becomes dejected. Meanwhile, Sho thinks a rescue team has arrived, so he opens his sleeping pod and starts moving towards David and Miranda. But Sho accidentally opens the hatch where Calvin was trapped. As Calvin gets out, it attacks Sho and kills him. David then tells Miranda that the thrusters on Fireball 3 have malfunctioned. Because of this, the space station is not moving into space, but is heading toward Earth. If they don't stop it, they will enter Earth's atmosphere in just 39 minutes. David tells Miranda they have 2 lifeboats, and since Calvin needs oxygen to survive, David forms a plan. He says Miranda will return to Earth, and he will lure Calvin into the second lifeboat and take it deep into space. According to the plan, David lures Calvin into his lifeboat with the promise of oxygen, and as soon as Calvin is inside, he seals the hatch so Calvin cannot get out. Miranda also safely reaches her lifeboat. Both turn on their autopilot so their capsules move in the intended direction. But then comes a twist. Miranda's capsule collides with a solar panel, causing a technical fault. Now, Miranda's capsule starts drifting away from Earth. Meanwhile, David's capsule fails to turn on its thrusters due to Calvin's attack, and his lifeboat also begins heading towards Earth. The situation has completely reversed. David's lifeboat crosses the atmosphere and slowly lands in the ocean. Nearby, fishermen spot the falling capsule and move towards it in their boat. As they reach the lifeboat, they see what appears to be David inside. Looking at the capsule descending into the ocean depths, could the fishermen understand what they were doing by opening the door? David had given a warning: don't open it. But human curiosity won out, and as soon as the door opened, the world repeated its biggest mistake. Now, Calvin is alive, and it is free. But are we ready for the next encounter?